average realtor makes 2 to 3 transactions a year. I'm sure you may see people that make 30 or 40 transactions a year, but the average realtor, 2 to 3 transactions a year. Within the first 5 years of being in real estate, 80% of people quit. It's harder to get started in that business. This is Chris Smouzon. I'm your financial coach, financial therapist, here to give you a little bit more insight in this financial world. It's been a while since I've done this with you, but glad to be back, and I'm glad you're back with us. As always, right, like and subscribe to the channel if you're enjoying the content that you're seeing, because today is going to be a good one, and it's really meant for a specific audience, a specific group of you out there that are listening to a lot of the financial information, a lot of the ways to build wealth and grow your income, make more money. This one's going to be specifically for you. So again, like and subscribe to the channel if you haven't done that already. And let's dive into it today. Today, I'm going to give you 7 reasons why I would choose the financial services industry, specifically the insurance industry, over the real estate industry. Not just as a form of building wealth or a form of investment, but actually as an industry to work in. I would much rather be an insurance agent than be a real estate agent. I'd much rather build a financial services insurance distribution company rather than be a real estate agent. And I'm going to give you the 7 reasons why, in my opinion, this industry far supersedes being in the real estate side of things. So I know some of you have been listening to this. You might have been getting, hearing the rumblings and hearing the news that people are getting laid off. People are losing their income left and right. The tech space has laid off a ton of people. Other companies and industries are constantly downsizing as we head into what some people may call a recession. For others, you just may call it a reorganization or a reshifting in our economy. But regardless, people are losing their income. People are losing their jobs. And that creates a problem in the workforce. It creates a problem with families. Again, as you guys know, here in the money space, where we start talking and educating people about money, one of the top things that we have to talk about is cash flow. How much comes in and how much goes out. Earned income, the income that you're bringing into your household. So when that gets affected by people getting laid off, or people just quitting their jobs, or not having enough income from the current job that they're working at, well, then we have to dive into the nitty-gritty. And one of the things that saved me from having a job was the insurance industry. And so a little backstory for all of you that might not know, my wife and I got introduced to the insurance space about 11 years ago. At the time of making this video, about 11 years ago, we got approached by a broker in the industry, and we started developing a relationship and having a conversation. At that time, I was a restaurant manager. That's my full background. I have associates in culinary arts and a bachelor's in food service management. So I was one of those people that came from a completely different industry. But I started having some conversations with this gentleman just about kind of what the next steps of life was like. I don't know if any of you listening have ever worked in a restaurant or know people that have worked in a restaurant, but it's not necessarily the best form of living. Long nights, holidays, weekends, you're overworked and underpaid at the essence of the business. So it's a really tough industry to make it in. And I didn't think that industry was going to be conducive to me and my family and where we wanted to go and building a real financial future. So having conversations with this gentleman, we start talking about kind of how to make other income, how to build business, just a lot of different topics. And he asked me, hey, have you ever looked at the financial services space? Have you ever looked at specifically the insurance space? And I said, no, I come from restaurants, so I never really looked at that space at all. And he said, listen, it's not it's not really a money business or a numbers business, so to speak. It's more of a people business. So once he told me it's not really a numbers business, because that's what a lot of people think when you get into insurance. Oh, you're just selling insurance. Or if you get into financial services or some form of financial coaching or planning, you got to be good with numbers. And none of those things were the case. He said this was more of a people business. And that's what really struck me, because I came from hospitality. So coming from hospitality, I already dealt with people. I felt like this would be a good way to go about utilizing my skill set just in a completely different industry. So for those of you listening, that might be something that you're already currently stuck on. Maybe you just lost your job. Maybe you're thinking about transitioning out of your current work or your current business or the industry that you're in, but you're trying to stick in the same things that you've been doing. One of my recommendations is you being able to take your skill set and the things that you've already learned at whatever the positions that you've held and translate those into an industry that's more lucrative, that will give you more work-life balance, that will allow you potentially to create financial freedoms and financial independence for you and your family, but utilizing those same skill sets that you maybe have gotten from another industry. That's what I was able to do. That's what my wife was able to do here in the insurance space, in the financial services space, because we had already come from a place of understanding management and understanding leadership and understanding how to deal with people. My wife was already a small business owner running a business. I was already in leadership and management. So we took those skill sets that we had and we were able to bring them over here into the insurance space. So again, today I'm going to tell you why I would choose to go into the insurance space 10 times over again instead of going into real estate. And the reason why we're talking about this is because it's so popular and commonplace for people to get into real estate. It's very popular for someone to say, oh, okay, you should go get a real estate license. Or there's a home out there, I see that home, well, maybe I should go get a real estate license so I could sell that home, or I can help somebody list their home. It's a very common thing that we hear these days. But I'm going to, again, give you some reasons why I don't think it's actually the best move or the move for most people to make from their job to that next stage of their business life or their career. So the first reason I would choose the financial services industry over the real estate side is because of supply and demand. Real estate always seems to have a problem with supply and demand. Some of you may not think it's a problem, but again, walking in as an agent, as a brand new agent into the industry, supply and demand is going to make a huge impact on your financial life, on your ability to make sales and move that business forward. What do I mean by supply and demand? Well, think about it. A home is the inventory that you have. Everyone's out there trying to buy or sell that home. If you chose to get into commercial real estate, then obviously you have a little bit more of the buildings, strip malls, commercial type places. But regardless, that's the inventory. There's only so many homes that are built. There's only so many strip malls and skyscrapers and office buildings that are built. There's a limited supply. So if you are just a general agent that's going out there looking to help individuals buy or sell their home, you have a certain limited amount of inventory. There's just only a certain amount of homes in your area that you can actually help somebody sell or purchase. And because of that, when the inventory is low, meaning not a lot of people are selling their homes, or it's not a buyer's market. Not a lot of people want to buy homes like right now, right? Interest rates continuing to go up. People are getting a little uneasy and unsure of their money. So there's not as many buyers in the market as there were 2 years ago. So if the inventory is low because people aren't selling their homes, and there's a demand issue, there's not a lot of people that want to buy it, that's going to affect your money. You can't, as a real estate agent, you can't force someone to sell their home. You can't force someone to buy a home, especially if they're not ready. So you will always be dependent upon how much inventory is out there, what the supply is out there. Now imagine the other side is true. There's still a low supply, but there's a high demand. AKA what was happening 2 years ago. There's a small demand of homes, a small supply of homes that are actually available for people, meaning a lot of people aren't trying to sell, but there's a ton of demand. A lot of people are actually wanting to buy homes. There's a lot of people out there that are putting in offers and want to make it happen. Well, what's the likelihood if you're just stepping into real estate that you are going to be able to come through on that transaction when there's a huge demand for people that want to buy, but not a lot of people that want to sell? Well, your buyers are going to send you through the ringer. They're going to take you to 17 different showings and putting in 15 different offers, and you're going to have to do all of that work for them, and the supply is low. So there's always that supply and demand issue in real estate. What about the other side that may happen? What if the supply goes up and there's a bunch of people that want to now start selling their homes? They're trying to get out of their mortgages, but there are not a lot of people to buy. What if we hit a recession, a real recession, or potentially a depression, and people don't have the liquidity? Banks aren't lending money. People don't have the money to go purchase homes. Well, that supply can keep going up, and you can be the listing agent for some of those homes, but maybe they just sit on the market for 80 days, 180 days. Who knows? You're always going to be subject to the supply and demand issue in real estate. When times are very good, you can make a lot of money, but when times are really bad, it's really, really bad for real estate agents. So that's the downside. That's something that you're always going to have to deal with. This is the supply and demand issue. Here on the financial services side, whether it's insurance, whether it's the financial coaching, financial planning side of things, the demand is always high, especially with what we do, because everyone, and it's rare you hear that in businesses about everyone deals with, or everyone's in my market, or everyone needs what my product is. But in our space, everyone deals with money. Everyone deals with money. Even for that realtor, their client deals with money. They need to get some things in order for them to go purchase that house. Or when they sell that house, they're going to come into some money. So regardless, money is what everyone is thinking about. So the demand for what we do is very high. There's tons of people that need financial education, that need financial information and financial guidance to help them with their financial decisions. But the supply is very low, meaning there's not a lot of people like us that are out there actually servicing people. Many of you that are listening to this, you may not work with a financial professional. You may not work with a financial coach or a planner or an advisor or anyone of that nature. And the traditional financial advisor that works for maybe a bigger brokerage firm, if you don't have the right money, they're probably not looking at you. They're probably not able to help you. So it leaves the majority of Americans, the majority of the people that we know, all need, there's a high demand, they all need what we do, and there's not a lot of people actually doing it. On the other side, the inventory is always low, or not always, but it's low most of the time. It's hard to figure out who's selling or who wants to buy. The inventory is low, and there's not always a demand for it. On our side, in the financial services space, there's always a demand for what we're doing. So that's the first reason why I would choose financial services, the insurance space, over real estate. Second reason I would choose the financial services industry over real estate is because it's easier to get started and get your business going in financial services than it is in real estate. In real estate, imagine you're a brand new agent. You have no real estate experience. You just went and got your license and passed that test. Now you're finding a brokerage to work with, right? Keller Williams or EXP or RE/MAX or Century 21 or somebody that's even smaller. You're finding somebody to work with, and then you're out. It's your job to go out and find the listings and find people that want to buy homes, and that they'll work with you to buy their home. Well, in that process of helping someone make the largest purchase of their life, potentially, or selling something that's extremely valuable to them, why would they choose you if you're brand new? Again, not to be negative about it, but just reality. If I'm selling my home and it's been precious to me and I want to get top value for it, am I going to find the person that's been in business for a month or 2 months or 3 months or 6 months? Even if I have a great relationship with you and I like you, if this is going to net me $500,000, $300,000, $1 million, am I going to you as a newer person, or am I going to get a referral for someone that's bought and sold homes, that's been a staple in the industry for some time, that has helped my cousin and helped my mom and helped so-and-so that have been doing it for 10 years? I'm more likely to choose that person. And that's just human nature. So getting started in the real estate industry is very difficult. I heard this from a realtor that within the first 5 years of being in real estate, 80% of people quit. So 8 out of every 10 people that get started within 5 years, they're not actively doing real estate. You know why? Because it takes time to build that network, to build the trust, that you need in order for someone to trust you to buy or sell their home. The average realtor makes 2 to 3 transactions a year. That's the average realtor. I'm sure you may see people that make 30 or 40 transactions a year, but the average realtor, 2 to 3 transactions a year. It's harder to get started in that business. Imagine you're coming from your job and you're trying to make money. Well, it's a little difficult to get started. Come over here on the financial services, insurance side of things, where specifically with us, we have a system that is able to run the business. So getting a client, getting on a call, getting some information to people becomes simple. We have a system where we leverage people, where we leverage a trainer, or we leverage a broker, or we leverage someone to say, hey, I'm going through some training and I might need some help, so I need you to hear what I'm doing, and maybe you could point me in the right direction. So that person that's brand new, they're openly telling people that they're brand new, and those people that they're talking to will help them figure out where their market is, who needs their service. That's a powerful thing that real estate doesn't have. You're on your own. As soon as you get that license, sure, you might work with a broker, but you're on your own. You got to figure that out yourself. You got to work and go through the trials and errors of buying and talking to people, or buying a home, or listing a home, or paperwork, the assistant side. There's a lot of stuff to go through when you're starting. On our side, and this is one of the things that I love about what we do, we make it simple. We leverage other people to say, you know what, we know you're brand new. We know you're not going to go off and help everyone financially or with insurance because you barely know it yourself. So instead of just kicking you out the door, so to speak, and just having you go kind of figure it out, we're going to train you and hold your hand and make sure that over these next 45 to 60 days to 90 days, that you have a solid foundation of building a business that will bring you income. That's the second reason why I would choose and why I enjoy the financial services insurance space way more than the real estate side of things. The third reason I would choose the financial services insurance space over real estate, simply because, in my opinion, the test is easier on this side. Getting a life license, a life-only license, allows you to sell most life insurance products as well as some fixed indexed annuities. Some people choose to get life and health licenses. Similar tests, but this you can add on some things like disability insurance, health insurance, long-term care coverage, and that comes in one package of a license. In most states, it's about 150 multiple choice questions, and you need 70% to pass. It differs by state, but most states are somewhere around 70% to pass, right? Well, over on the real estate side, that test is a little bit harder. I don't have the specific specs. Maybe somebody could drop it in the comments of exactly how many questions are on that test. But I do know that people have taken more time to go off and pass that test, studied a lot more time to go past that test, and it typically is a bit harder. The average person on the insurance side studies for their tests for about 2 weeks before they actually get that license. Real estate is over 30 to 45 days typically that they're studying for that test to go take it. So, in my opinion, it's just easier to get a license on this side to be able to now start your professional career in the financial services space, in the insurance space, over real estate. The fourth reason that I would choose financial services, the insurance space, over real estate is because there's just less competition on this side. I previously kind of alluded to this, that supply and demand issue, but think of it from just a competition standpoint of getting a client. Take real estate. Real estate, you're looking for the same client. Someone has to have a down payment, good credit, good debt to income ratio in order to be eligible to be able to purchase a home. That's a select group of people, right, that are needed. Because not everyone has good credit. Not everybody has a down payment. Not everybody has a good debt to income ratio. But that's what's needed in order to go off and be eligible for buying that home. So there's a lot of competition on the side of finding the right buyer. There's a lot of realtors that are looking for that select less than 5% of people in their area, because that's really all it about is less than 5% of people meet all those criteria in a given area. So that's what everyone's looking for. And here's the other side of competition. There's tons of realtors in your area. Think about it. If I asked you right now, hey, think of 3 or 4 realtors that you know, I bet you could think of them. I bet you right away you have an idea of 2, 3, 4, 5 people that you've either A, come in contact with, seen on social media, have a business card, they're in your family, you bought or sold a home with them. I'm sure you could think of 4 or 5 of them right away. Well, think about that from an agent perspective. If people already know, everyone that listens, everyone that knows 3, 4, 5 realtors, it's very rare. I don't like saying never, but this might be a case to say never, but it's very rare that you find someone that doesn't know someone in real estate. It's very rare that you find someone that's like, I don't know a realtor. I've never come across one. I don't have the number of one. It's very rare. So if you're an agent, now you're putting yourself in that same pool. You just become the next person that thinks of the 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 people that they know in real estate. And again, you might be brand new, so why are they thinking of you over somebody else? If you think of your average real estate brokerage, you go down to your local Century 21 or your local Keller Williams or your local, EXP or whatever the case is, you go to your local brokerage, ask them how many agents are working out of that one office. Some of you might be in smaller states or smaller counties or towns, so there may not be a ton. But you come to some bigger cities, you come to some places where you walk into a real estate office and there's 70 agents in that office, all serving the same neighborhoods, all serving the exact same area. You have 30 different realtors in one office in that one town, and that's just out of one brokerage. So now the competition is heavy because now you're brand new in real estate and you just put yourself in a pond with 150 other realtors that serve your same area. What makes you stand out? What makes you make money in the business? Why are they going to buy their home or list their home with you? The competition is really high, which means you have to be really good. You have to be very good in order to do well in real estate, especially early. So maybe you already did come from a sales background. Or maybe you already have a huge network of people, or maybe you were in a different part of real estate and you became an agent. Those things typically give you an advantage. But if you don't come from that, it's not going to give you an advantage. It's going to be a lot of competition. And if you're not already good with some of the basics, it's going to be really difficult to get that business off the ground for you. Come over here to the financial services side, the insurance side of things. Way less competition. Let me ask you a question. The same question I asked, hey, think of 3, 4, 5 realtors. If I ask you, do you know a realtor? You think of 3, 4, 5. Let me ask you this. Do you know any financial professionals? Do you know a financial coach? Do you know a financial planner? Do you know anybody that actively helps people in their financial life? Notice I didn't ask about insurance because you all may know someone that works at State Farm or Farmers or Allstate or something around those lines. You may know someone that does some type of insurance, sure. But do you know a financial professional? Can you think of 3, 4, 5 financial coaches or financial planners or financial advisors that are in your network that you could reach out to and they would know you and you would know them? Do you have that? Most people don't. And if you do, you maybe only think of one person, maybe 2. So just right there, in the minds of the consumer, in the minds of the people that are going to be your clients, there's already less competition. You already can take up more of that space in somebody's mind by branding yourself as a financial professional than if you branded yourself as a realtor. So the competition on this side is way less, which also means you don't need to have as many skills. Your skill set doesn't necessarily need to translate right away. You don't need to be great at sales. You don't need to be great at marketing right away because there's less competition. That is why I would choose the financial services insurance space over real estate. The 5th reason I would choose the financial services insurance space over the real estate space is for those of you that want to grow and you want to be able to get to a place where you can become a broker. You can become someone that not just sells and transacts, but you have an agency, you have a brokerage. If that's something you want to get into, it's much easier, much simpler to be able to become a broker in the financial services insurance space than it is in the real estate side. Here's why. When you work in real estate, you are an agent and you do really well as an agent. You're listing homes, you're buying homes, you're making commissions, you're making good money, people like you, but you work for a broker. You work for a brokerage. You're bringing income and notoriety into their brokerage. Then eventually you're like, I could go do this myself. Well, here's the downside. Most brokers are not going to be fond of that plan. They're not going to want you to go become a broker. Why? Because then you become competition for them. So they don't want to help you. They're not naturally going to give you the resources you need to go become a broker. They're not going to naturally help you learn step by step what you need to do to go become a broker, because then you become competition. You're probably going to take more of their sales, and they're no longer, because you're going to serve a similar market. You're going to take some of their sales. They're no longer going to be able to benefit off of those sales. You're probably going to take some of their agents, because you probably have some people that have good relationships with you. So they're probably going to lose a lot by you leaving that business, by you leaving that brokerage. So they don't want you to become a broker. So they're going to make it difficult. Everyone that I know in the real estate space that was once an agent, they either said, I don't want to become a broker because it looks too hard. Their broker discouraged them from it. There's a lot of stuff they got to put up with. Or it was such a struggle to become a broker because they didn't have the resources. They were getting screwed out of deals. There was a lot of things happening because no one wanted to see them become a broker. So in the real estate side, it's tough to get that advancement of getting out of transaction and becoming an agency or a broker. Well, over here on the financial services space and in the insurance side, specifically with what we do, we incentivize you to become a broker. Most insurance distribution companies, financial service companies, they incentivize you to want to go off and build your own thing and become a broker and do things a little bit more. That's what they incentivize, because it will continue to benefit not just the broker that promoted you or that got you to your knowledge level, but it also to the company, to being able to say, you know what, now we have another outlet. We have someone else that can go out independent and distribute these financial products. So on this side, we encourage it. I was encouraged to become a broker. My wife and I were encouraged to become independent and do things ourselves, because there was a reward there for everyone. It didn't take anything away from the broker that we had, didn't take anything away from them. So that means they were incentivized to be able to do it. That's why I enjoy this side of the financial services insurance space well over real estate. The sixth reason why I would choose financial services and insurance over real estate is because of the residual and renewal income that you get on this side. Being in the real estate space, you're transactional. It's a one-to-one. You buy that home, you get someone to buy that home, you get a client that buys a home. Guess what? You get paid one time. That's it. You list that home, someone sells their home, guess what? You get one commission, one time. Then you're right back out there in the field, listing another home, trying to get somebody to buy another home. That's why you see older people in the real estate space. You'll see someone in their 50s, in their 60s, still actively being a realtor, actively transacting, because it's a one-to-one business. Here in the insurance space and financial services space, we get residual income and renewal income. I bet you didn't know this. The person that sold you car insurance, maybe you talk to Geico, right? You save 15 minutes or by switching to Geico, whatever they're saying is, right? 15 minutes for car insurance or whatever it is. You talk to somebody for a small period of time. They give you the best rate. They get you that car insurance policy, whether it's for 6 months or for a year. After 6 months, that policy will renew. Normally, they're not calling you back to renew it. They're just automatically renewing it. But did you know that the person that sold it to you, they get another commission every time that policy renewed? So they only talk to you for 15 minutes over the phone to get you signed up for your car insurance, but they get paid after that policy renews after 6 months. Another 6 months goes by, it gets renewed again, they'll get another commission, on and on and on, as long as you continue to keep paying that policy. Works the same thing with life insurance and disability and long-term care, and even on the health insurance side of things. Most times you can get a renewal income. If somebody renews their policy, you'll get a part of that commission again. So therefore, in financial services, you can do the work one time and keep getting paid for it over and over and over again. Imagine you, in a business like ours, you get 30 clients in your first year, which you get help getting. You get those 30 clients, you get paid your full commissions on those 30 clients, and then year 2 comes, you get paid partial on year 2 because you already did the work in year 1. They kept the policy. You get paid a partial commission on year 2. How awesome is that? Instead of constantly transacting and constantly having to go get another sale and chase another sale and another sale, you can build so by design your income is meant to grow in the insurance space and financial services space. By design, your income is meant to grow. That's a reason why I would choose the financial services insurance space over real estate. And number 7, one of the biggest reasons why I love the financial services insurance space over real estate is because you can work from home. In real estate, it can be tough. You got to show homes. You got to go to the office to get training. You got to fill out paperwork. You got to see the notary. You got to meet with the client. You got to walk them around. It's a very face-to-face business. Sure, there's some ways to do some home tours and things like that. But you know, if you work in real estate, the sale is made by you talking to them, by you being close to them, by you driving them around the neighborhood and, right, talking to them about the home that they're going to live in and going to see it and touch it and all those things. You have to be out in the field in order for you to build a real estate business. Not here in financial services and on the insurance side. We work from home. You can choose to leave the house. You can choose to go see a client. You can choose to go sit down with someone in their home. But now, with all the technology that we have, whether it be FaceTime, Zoom calls, Google Meet, you can sit down with a client all across the country and be able to help them financially, help them get the proper protection in place with their insurance, and never leave the comfort of your home. This is me and my wife's story. We never leave our house. You may see us out here and there, but not really. We do all of our work from home. Because of that, we're very busy, right? Sitting on a Zoom call or a Google Meet call, you can be a lot more efficient in doing it this way. But in all honesty, it's a blessing and a privilege that we don't have to leave the house. I can see my family whenever I want to, that I can eat from my own kitchen whenever I want to, that I can, right, move about around my house as I please. That is one of the biggest benefits. This is relatively recent. Before the pandemic, before 2020, most people in the financial services space didn't work from home. But we were one of the first industries to be able to transition smoothly into working just from home and not having to worry about going into an office and what it means to leave the house. That's the reason why many people are more suited for being able to work from home in the comfort of their own home rather than going out into an office, traveling, spending gas, getting around people in the real estate space. I just gave you guys 7 reasons why I would choose the financial services insurance space over the real estate space. And these 7, these are our opinion. This is what we think about. But you can apply some of these things in your life. If you see someone saying, hey, I think you should get a real estate license, well, I would challenge you with the question, hey, maybe you should get an insurance license. Maybe you should go out and say, there's less competition, there's a better supply and demand, I can make more money, I have renewal and residual income, there's so many other things that I can do on this side. Why would I put myself in a position where I can't make all the money that I want to? I would challenge you to think of that question. Ask someone around you, if you know anyone that's in the insurance or financial services space, what their experience is, and ask someone that you know in the real estate space that's only been there for a few years what their experience is, and then judge that for yourself. If you do have any questions, feel free to reach out to us. You'll find it here in the description down below. You'll be able to find all the ways to get in contact with us. If you have specific questions about how to benefit from being in the financial services or the insurance space, by all means, let us know. Reach out. We're more than happy to have that conversation with you. If you're currently in real estate and you want to make a switch, let me give you some advice. This is a great industry to pivot into because we're all helping the same people. We all have clients. We all have people that we want to help. If you have a sales background or a marketing background, these are things that are going to be able to transfer well when you come over here into the financial services space. So if you are somebody that comes from real estate and maybe your business isn't going the way you want to, again, feel free to reach out so we can have a conversation about how to improve your cash flow just by using your same skill set over here. All right, y'all. Until next time, we'll talk soon. Take care.